Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Knock On Podcast, brought to you by the good people of Zero Tackle. And Dan, while we may have been away for a couple of weeks, rugby league doesn't stop. We have to compile 2 weeks worth of headlines. What's been happening?
Look, this is a potentially fiery edition of the Knock On. I'm here for it, Terry. I know you are too. Never one to walk away. Earlier today, as we're recording this, so last night as it drops, Peter V'landys, the great PVL, has come out and said, well, he's addressed the players laying down for penalties. Now, you and I on our other show, Rugby League Outlaws, if you can, please jump on and have a look. We didn't go backwards in coming forward in saying the NRL have pretty much said, stay down and milk penalties, and then are coming out and say, don't stay down and milk penalties. Lord PVL's come in today and said, is your integrity really worth laying down for a penalty? Terry, I ask you this. 2 weeks ago, Jaden Campbell against South Sydney, 2018, right in front, whacked, clear penalty, doesn't stay down, gets up, plays the ball, they lose. What's more important, his integrity or the Titans win the wooden spoon?
Yeah, I mean, you just see it now. Any little bit of contact, go down. Any little bit and you know what the worst thing is going to happen? The referee's going to tell you to undergo your HIA assessment and someone else is going to play the ball. Just anyone now who feels a little bit of contact on their face, stay down.
Yep. We saw Reece Walsh on the weekend.
It's a lottery.
It is. I don't think it's got to do with players' integrity. I don't think the head of the competition should be coming out and addressing this nonsense. He should be in talking to his referees and saying, obvious high contact, penalise. Or, bunker, don't take 7, 8, 10 seconds. Watch a replay. You've got $1 billion bunker. Should take 1 second, high shot, bang. Shouldn't even worry about players staying down. There are so many things they could be doing, but the NRL have said a couple of weeks ago, again, I go back to it, if Jaden Campbell had stayed down, he would have been awarded a penalty. They said it should have been a penalty. It wasn't. Yeah. He got up. Bad message.
They said it should have been a penalty, but that wasn't a reportable offence. So even if Campbell stayed down, with it being 20 to 18, do you think they would have? I don't think they would have had the stones to give that.
I reckon they would have found it and gone, yeah, it's on report. And then the next day being like, no cause to $5,000 fine. Mate, last week we saw Reece Walsh, and I've got an article dropping today that will coincide with this. We saw Reece Walsh get crusher tackled. Mm-hmm. Stone cold penalty every day of the week. The referee just sat there, did nothing. Everyone's screaming he's been crushed. Reece Walsh stays down. Social media calls him all sorts of names. They award the penalty. Reece Walsh gets up, has a laugh. I'm pretty sure he either took the kick or the hit up after. He was fine. He shouldn't have had to stay down is my issue with this problem. And the fact that he did and drew so much ire, what do you want him to do? If he gets up and plays the ball, no penalty.
Well, I mean, we can't expect the referees to catch everything. And then this goes back to, we used to have 2 referees, one to watch the ruck and one to watch the 10 metres, but we didn't want that anymore. So we took that away. So now you've got one set of eyes who essentially has to be in the middle of the field watching all the way across it with 2 hopeless touch judges.
Yep. 3 sets of eyes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you can't, that Walsh crusher happened right near the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
What was the touch judge doing?
Well.
So, I mean, I get it. The referee can't see everything. And with that, with crusher tackles, some of them are so subjective because you see guys run up, turn around, back into defense, get put down. All of a sudden, it's a crusher tackle, right? I think that Walsh one, though, was blatantly obvious. And the fact that was missed has been, that's the annoying part of one of them that is so, that wasn't even innocuous. That was blatant.
Yep.
That shouldn't have been missed. So that's the problem. And then you see Walsh stay down, and then you see the penalty, and then you see him kick for touch, and then two tackles later he gets tackled, right? They're the ones that annoy you, and everyone goes, Walsh is a diver, but he shouldn't have to be a diver.
No.
That's
exactly what I said. Please check out the article. When I write when I'm sarcastic and angry, it's better. I don't know if you'll all agree. Don't care. I liked it. The other one I want to touch on quickly was the Harry Grant one. The referees nailed this 100%. Doesn't matter whether he dove, whether he stood still, whether he did 6 backflips. That was a stone cold penalty. The fact that he did hit the ground a bit easy has made this a bigger issue than it should have been.
Yeah. I mean, you have a look, like the one that people have been going against Penrith was when Nathan Cleary ran into Josh King, and Cleary didn't milk it. He just ran into. So if Harry Grant had just ran into Moses Leota, it's a penalty anyway, right? Harry Grant made a meal of it, so Ashley Klein had no choice but to penalise it. Now, for anyone who's saying, I don't really think that's a penalty, it is. Okay? It is a penalty. And you'll hear the people saying, but Stefano was in a position to get the ball. Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
That is great. He's in a position to get the ball, but the fact of the matter is he didn't get the ball. So therefore, he's blocking Harry Grant getting to Nathan Cleary. That is the definition of an obstruction. Right? We've seen it happen. It's happened to Cronulla a couple of times. We've had field goals taken off of us because of people standing in the way. That was ruled 100% correct. And then they're like, oh, but Harry Grant ran into him and he made a beeline for him. Harry Grant could have ran and drop kicked Moses Leota into row 5. That's still a penalty to Harry Grant. Moses Leota, the minute he didn't get the ball, was in a legal position.
The other thing that annoys me, mate, and
Yeah.
what Wall said before, you really nailed it. We've seen so many teams just repeat the same thing over and over, expect different results. I want to see some. I never like to see people lose their jobs. That was probably the wrong way I was going to go in. But for the sake of fans, Anthony Seibold cannot be the manly coach next year. Des Hasler is Gonski's. He should have been gone 6 weeks ago, but he had a record to break, etc., a milestone to reach. There's 3 or 4 other coaches. Adam O'Brien's one that you and I disagree on. I think he needs to go. I think Todd Payton needs to go. Why are these clubs not removing these coaches that have had multiple years and can't improve teams?
Again, it depends on the clause that's inserted in the coach's contract, right? So I think for someone like Des Hasler, the Titans have put in their full payout contract if he's sacked inside the first 2 years. So this is, in fact, the second year of Des Hasler, I believe, or 2.5 years of Des Hasler. So I think the Titans are going to wait to the end of the season and then let Des Hasler go on his own terms and make it look like he and the club came to the mutual decision rather than the fact that they've sacked him, right? And you let Des Hasler, who goes out with 500 games experience, go out on a good note, he's probably not going to get another job.
Yeah, I do.
Manly were in a bit of a tough situation because they started off the season pretty crap. Then they got themselves into the top 8, and then they had a bit of a dip, and then they got back in the top 8, and now they're dipping. So you couldn't pull the trigger on Seibold when he was 6th, and then you couldn't pull the trigger when they were spiraling because they bounced back before. And they had a couple of games where you looked at it and go that, you know, you wouldn't have been surprised if they won it. And like, again, I think they play the Dolphins this weekend, and you wouldn't be surprised if they won that game. So I'm not sure about Seibold, right? Like, I think he's a crap coach. And again, I think at the end of the year, Manly are going to negotiate it and make it look, you know, for Seibold to... he's not going to get a full-time job for a while, but at least if he goes out on decent terms, he could get an assistant coaching job.
Yep, that's good, yeah.
Right? And then you're talking about, like, say he was to get an assistant coaching job at, pick a club, let's not pick on the Tigers, say the Dragons, all right? And it all falls apart under Shane Flanagan. At least you got a half-decent caretaker coach for 18 months, for 6 months, for 18 months, right? And I mean, half-decent, I mean, like, he's crap, but it could be worse. You could be giving it to a rookie who's way out of their depth.
Yep.
Todd Payton has to be sacked. Like, they're not getting any better. They're not going to get any better under him at all. Adam O'Brien has been... I reckon the harshest one is Adam O'Brien. People are saying, no, Newcastle are crap, right? The injury toll has been really bad, but he has made the finals in seasons where they had no right to. He got them up to win to a 10-game winning streak to get into the finals in 2013.
Did he though?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Did
Absolutely. And Kalen Ponga turned around and said that the reason why he went on that run and won the Daly M was because Adam O'Brien freed the shackles on him. Name Adam O'Brien's best recruit in the time that he's been there. Name his best recruit.
Did he recruit? Oh, I don't know. He picked Fletcher Hunt. I don't know if he recruited him.
He didn't recruit him. 15 games of the Super League for Dominic Young, or bringing back 35-year-old Dane Gagai.
Yeah, Margie maybe. until
But
6 weeks ago.
that was a swap as
Mm.
well. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, there hasn't been anyone outstanding. Now, I'm not calling Dylan Brown an outstanding player, but Dylan Brown is a good player. And they're finally going to get someone to go up there that is a marquee player. They've now all but sealed the deal for Trey Mooney. It looks like Sandon Smith is going to go there. You've unloaded Fletcher Hunt. They got Fletcher Sharp. You got Kalen Ponga. You've got Marju and Young back. You've got an exciting centre pairing of Best and Gagai. You still got Tyson Frizzell. I know, like, he's not outstanding, but he's still Tyson Frizzell. Like, name still has, like, it still means something. I honestly think that they are a legitimate number 9 away from, again, competing for a top 8 spot they probably don't deserve. If I'm Newcastle, I'm saying to him, you got 10 weeks, and if Dylan Brown looks like a lump of you know what, you're out. You are out. But I think it would be unfair to essentially give him a bag of scraps and then go and recruit these marquee players and then go, on your way out, see you later.
No, that's fair, and that's where I knew we'd disagree. I would argue, though, that when Kalen Ponga wasn't playing lights out football, there's no plan B. And in this competition, you need a plan B, C, D, and E. We've seen it at Cronulla. Plan A wasn't working for a long, long time. There was no plan B. Okay, plan A's working again now, depending on which week you ask us. I just don't. I think he's too reliant on one player being the best player in the game, or they're terrible.
Yeah, but that's it. Like, he has been so reliant. Now they've got him a Dylan Brown. Now they're getting him a front rower with potential. Now they're getting him a Sandon Smith who can be creative and he's fast. And he looks like he could. It sounds like he's going up there to have a crack at the number 9 jersey.
I like that. I rate all those signings, especially.
So I'm sitting there saying, out of all the coaches that you've named, I'm not sacking Adam O'Brien at the end of 2025 unless they get the spoon.
Yeah, that's completely
But
right.
even, like, if he can dodge the spoon with scoring 200 points or something that they've scored in 20-odd games, if he can dodge the spoon, I'd turn around and go, mate, you're on a short rope, and for each win, that rope will get longer, but each loss, it comes back. And see how they're going at the end of round 10. I think Adam O'Brien's earned that.
Fair
Newcastle fans will disagree with me, but that's because they're going so bad at the moment after making finals. So, yeah.
I would also argue that 200 points or whatever it is a coaching problem. But anyways, we'll move on. Yep, I think there's going to be changes. We'll talk more about that later. Reece Walsh, mate. One weekend he's the best player in the competition. One weekend he's the worst player in the competition. And he does this for 80 minutes. We saw just this week, and more on the Broncos and Dolphins a little bit later. He had moments where you are like, get this guy off the field and get him in a hard hat and on a construction site. And there were other times where you're like, this guy is legitimately the most entertaining and the best player in the competition. The human roller coaster, are the ups worth the downs? I say absolutely. But geez, Broncos fans are pulling their hair out sometimes.
I mean, you're in a position now where if you're offering me Reece Walsh, I'm 100% taking him.
Aye.
That guy's a match winner on his day. You know, I know he's like, the thing with those erratic players like him, like Ponga, like Sean Johnson, the guys who just play ad lib, eyes up, run whenever they want to, they're going to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. They are going to make those mistakes. It's like, they're not your meat and potato players. Like, I think there was one year Brett Kamali went through a season at Cronulla where he made one error, and that's because he kicked the ball out on the full. You're not going to get that with Reece Walsh. You're going to get like 5 errors in a game, but that might come with 3 try assists a try, 217 meters, and he's won you the game. Or you're going to get the 5 errors. He's done absolutely sweet FA and you've lost, and you're sitting here listening to us on a podcast going, what's up with Reece Walsh?
Spot on. I love this guy. He's one of my favourite players. He's one of the blokes that you have to watch. Now, not always for good. You just don't know what to expect. But we saw earlier in the year in New Zealand, he was awful. He almost lost the game in regular time. They kicked the ball out on the full, and you're like, what's going on? And this weekend, they're down to the Dolphins. He kicks a 4-20. He sets up one of the all-time highlight reel tries. He's there scoring tries. He's going to be the face of the Broncos for a lot of years, right? A lot of Brisbane fans are like struggling. I had a few message and just say, this guy is just not worth the trouble. From the outside, he looks very much worth the trouble. They're the kind of players you need to win premierships. He would have been probably 3rd or 4th best on ground a couple of years ago when they lost that grand final. No one remembers because Nathan Cleary's last 20 minutes was godlike, and everything else before that's forgotten. If they win that, I think Reece Walsh is in the talks for the Kangaroos tour. Now, he won't be because there's two better options. But if you were to tell me Reece Walsh is being named, say Tedesco, I don't know, pulls out.
Off the back of that grand final, he actually usurped Kalen Ponga as the fullback, and then he got knocked out, and Ponga came back. And this is Ponga won the Daly M that year as well. Don't forget.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the other thing as well is you have to say, if the Broncos were to ever turn around and go to Reece Walsh, your time's up, he's straight to the Dolphins, hammer straight in the centres, and that's even scarier for teams.
It is.
So, I mean, yeah, like if the Brisbane Broncos don't want Reece Walsh, I'm happy to offer you a swap for William Kennedy.
Yeah, spot on. He's just signed a monster deal, or is signing a monster deal, whatever it is. He's the future at Brisbane. I love the kid, but there are times where you're just like, what are you doing? And I think it just makes for more fun. But speaking of fun, Terry, the Dolphins and Broncos may not have definitely don't have the longest rivalry. They have the shortest rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Not the biggest, because there are some Roosters fans that are going to come at you. I still think Parramatta and Manly's heated, us and the Storm, etc., etc. There is no more fun rivalry right now than the Broncos and the Dolphins.
Yeah, like the rivalries of the past, like Sharks, Dragons, Bulldogs, Parramatta in the 80s, us and Manly for a little bit as well. Like these, like the traditional rivalry of the game is South and the Roosters, right? That's a game where it's like, if you could still punch, you'd be expecting 4 or 5 fights a game in that game. This rivalry between the Dolphins and the Broncos is based on the fact that Brisbane have had it their way their entire existence, and now they've got a new team that's come in and wants to make it our home, and Katoni Staggs is not having that. If Katoni Staggs played the Broncos every week, the Dolphins every week, he's the best player in the competition.
Absolutely.
He hates the Dolphins. And I honestly reckon, right, if the Broncos ever came into Katoni Staggs and said, unfortunately, we can't re-sign you, and there was only one club in the competition that had money, and that was the Dolphins, it wouldn't surprise me if Staggs retired.
Yeah.
He hates the Dolphins.
He does.
And I'm all here for it when players just get up, like Kyle Felt, pretty average career, was the best winger in the world when he played Cronulla. Mm-hmm. You know, like Ronaldo, similar against the Cowboys, loves it.
Yeah.
There are just teams you hate to play, and Katoni Staggs has made the Dolphins the team that he really hates to play, and I'm here for it.
It's so good. This past weekend, Trey Fuller came in off 2 or 3 games in Queensland Cup, whatever it is, after a horrible injury, and was like the most excited player on the field. And then Reece Walsh just hit like the most exciting player of all time. And then you see Hammer do something magic, and you think that no Herbie wasn't there. Jake Cavarillo, who he's a handy first grader, was worldly. Katoa was great. You had Ben Hunt, a couple of try assists, like he was 5 years younger. You had these forwards just
Billy Walters putting in crossfield kicks on a break.
It was insane. The wingers are flying high. Everyone's sort of in on each other. The forwards are us. You got Payne Haas with one of the best halves of football you'll ever see from a prop forward. You got Katoni Staggs getting up with a "This Is Our House," which is just marketing 101 material. It should be on every single NRL ad for the rest of forever. It is just so much fun because the games are so good. We're yet to see that pouring rain 8-6 slugfest, and I hope we never see it. I want to see the 40-30s. I want to see crowds. I want to hear trumpets. I want to see fins spelled incorrectly with a PH. I want to see Staggs doing this. I want to see the Hammer getting up. Oh, I love this rivalry so much.
Just going back to one of the players that we mentioned, Billy Walters was called Young Billy Walters at 31 years old.
Yeah, well, he's young.
We have our new Matt Moylan.
We certainly do. Young Billy Walters. But to a player who we all wish was a little bit younger, or at least his knees, Tom Trbojevic, Tom Turbo, as he used to be known and then still is. This past week, let's go back a little bit. Started the season at fullback, had some good games, got injured, came back, had some good games, got injured. Copy and paste for the past however many years. Gets shifted to the centres. Plays extremely good football. No injuries. one of the best players in the competition, talked about for a spot in the Kangaroos. He's gone back to fullback. It's become a meme again. Okay, his run meters are way up, but he ran for the line and they laughed at him and dragged him down and almost put him into touch, whereas 5 years ago he scores easily. We saw him have two decisions to make. You either go one player or the other, the Tigers, and he stood and did nothing. Now, you could argue it's an obstruction, and I would argue that he probably would have got the call if he'd done literally anything other than stand there like a statue. He has to go back to the centres. I cannot believe he hasn't been named at centres this weekend, and they have to get that cooler kid as much ball as possible. The only time they look good is when he's beaten 15 tackles and scoring length of field tries.
Yeah, and like he is a fantastic centre. He's an even better fullback, and they've all, like Lehigh Opawati's earmarked as the next, cab to play fullback. I think the problem with Manly at the moment is they're so stocked in the backs, they've just got no talent up front. So it doesn't matter where you play Tom because they've run out of forwards at the moment. Like Ethan Bullymore has been tasked to do the job of three players, and I like Ethan Bullymore. I think you and I both said it was an underrated signing when he left Brisbane and went to Manly, and he has made an absolute that has been a great career move for him. I know Tommy Talau's there, and Ruben Garrick has just been ruled out for the remainder of the season or whatever. But it's evident that Turbo's he's not the player that he was. His hair, you can see it when he runs. He's changed his running style because he doesn't want to snap his hamstrings.
Can't blame him.
So yeah, fullback's his spot, and if Manly are to sack Seabold, the next coach comes in, his first discussion with Tom has to be, if you're in the centres, here's your contract. It's not fullback money.
Yeah, I agree. You just can't play a bloke. I know he's so good. And again, this is a bloke that we would want playing every week, except Cronulla, because it's better when you don't play him because he makes them 5 times better side. But this past year, and we've been yelling this for 2 years now, saying he's got to play in the centres. Same with Latrell. Your body changes. Matt Moylan was a superstar fullback in his early days. His body just let him down. He moved to 5'8", and he was great. Every time he went back to fullback, he got injured. The dynamics are just different. They're changing because you never know where you're going because it's dictated by the other team. Whereas at centre, okay, a little bit in defence, you don't know. But attack-wise, he can pop up where he wants. And we saw he was attacking at fullback, really. But since he's gone back to fullback, his stats have been pretty good. His run meters are great. But in terms of impact, there's almost none. And you've got this young fullback in the waiting in Cooler who he scored 2 of the best tries over the last couple of weeks. He was all Manly had the other night, and he's just wasted.
Yeah, and like the thing for Tom as well is teams used to hate kicking to Turbo, and now they're kicking to him because they're like, right, if he opens up on us, he's not going to brace himself for impact, and his hamstring's going to go.
Exactly right. It's sad times at Manly. Not that you'll get us crying any tears, but from one Manly legend to another, mate, we're gonna shuffle it a bit. So I want to save the meat and potatoes for the last one. 350 this weekend. DCE run it out on the Brookvale Oval. Did an interview the other night. Said I don't want to talk about my future. I want to talk about this achievement. He's rah-rahed the crowd. Now I fully expect the Manly crowd to turn out and show him the respect that a bloke who's won a premiership, or 2 premierships, however it is, 1 premiership, has, played a million times for Queensland, played for the Kangaroos. He's one of the best Manly Sea Eagles of all time. Like, there's no way around it. Okay, this year has been very frustrating, and their season ended for me when all that nonsense broke. But this is a bloke who the fans should get out and cheer. Do you think they will, or do you think this carry-on is going to taint the 350th a little bit?
It doesn't matter about what's happening with Daly Cherry-Evans the present. You have to have a look at Daly Cherry-Evans as a whole. And as you said, he's a Manly legend. He's a Manly immortal. He's one of the best players that they've ever produced. He's one of the best players that we've seen. Like he's a top 10 halfback in the NRL era. There's no question about it. I think fans have a right to feel soured about how the relationship has ended because there are no real answers. And I honestly think that this is a two-way breakdown, and people are going, oh no, but Manly offered him a contract. Manly didn't offer him the contract he wanted until he said, I'm leaving.
Too late.
Yeah.
What his feelings.
Manly offered him a 1-year deal. He said, I'm not taking a 1-year deal with you because I deserve it. I'm going to go elsewhere. Then they rang him up and offered him the contract that he wanted. So I think you have to, like for this, for a big game, for a club legend, you have to put that aside and you have to look at it and say, let's just move this out of the way and let's just give our all for one night for DCE.
Yeah, I agree.
And not only the fans, the players have got to fire up for him as well.
They do. He's a bloke who is literally running out for his 350th game for one club.
For one club,
You know, his childhood club that, you know, I'm pretty sure he's local-ish over there or something.
No, he's a Brisbane kid.
Yeah, but didn't he grow up down there or play his junior footy?
They picked him up at like 16 or something.
Gotcha. So there was no... It's not like he's a Cowboys junior and came down on, you know, this kid's going to be a freak sort of signing. He's a club legend. I hope Manly lose because it's better for us and it's more entertaining as rugby league fans because the Dolphins, you know, push for 8th.
Yeah, I don't want... Yeah. See, I'm on the opposite of you. I want Manly to win so it just keeps that gap.
Yeah, fair enough.
Cronulla will then have a 6-point gap with 2 games to go. They can't catch him.
Look, true. The rugby league
Let's
fan in me.
go on Manly.
That's it. The Manly fan, the other rugby league fan in me, you know, wants to win, but the Sharks fan definitely doesn't. So yeah, I look good luck to DC. I hope the fans come out in big numbers. I guess that they will. The weather should be good by then. And congratulations on a brilliant career. I think he's going to be a Rooster next year. That's fait to complete, but we'll deal with that.
I don't think he's going to be a Rooster. I think this is the end of it. I think this is the end of the line for Daly Cherry-Evans.
We did say that he intends to play on. You think that's smokescreen?
I think it's a smokescreen now. If it was going to be a Rooster, it would have been done by now. But I think the emergence of Hugo Savala, the young Rodwell kid as well. I only know Tommy's brother. Is it Toby Rodwell?
Jack, I think.
Jack, whatever. Who cares? And Sam Walker coming back. I don't think there's a spot there for DCE. And I think if they had their time over, they probably would have said to Sandon Smith, we'll keep you as well.
I agree. But let's go to the big one, mate. Now, it's been, all the talk has been about International Rugby League. You and I are big supporters of the international game. I love it. I can't speak for you, but I love it. I also love the emergence of Samoa and Tonga and the Cook Islands and Fiji. And I love the fact that, you know, Payne Haas has said, I want to play for Samoa. I want to win a World Cup for Samoa. That's incredible. We're expecting Tino to go as well. The Hammers, probably the third one who's going to go. We've seen, you know, Daniel Tupu, Andrew Fafita, and Jason Tomaloli started it. You know, Kay Aliro said he wants to play for the Cook Islands. Like, there's just... And young Izzy Katoa can play for about 4 different teams. So it'll be interesting to see where his future lies. But the one nation... And I never thought I'd say these words, and I feel bad for them, that are getting absolutely almost crippled by this eligibility, is our mates across the Tasman, the Kiwis, the New Zealanders. They don't have the ability to offer international and origin. It's one or the other. Like, Britton Nickera could have played for New South Wales, but because he's a Cronulla junior, but he played for the Kiwis.
Whoa! Yeah, Britton Nickera would have played for Queensland.
Well,
he's
whatever.
A Titans junior.
Well, whatever. I'm just picking a player. You know, there's so many of them. You know, I look at the side and they've still got Tarpany and Hughes and Dylan Brown, and I know he's not great at the moment, but he's going to be a superstar next year. They've still got a really, really good team. You know, the youngsters like McLean coming through, but they are just the amount of players that can play for New Zealand or Tonga or Samoa are choosing Tonga and Samoa and using loopholes to play for New South Wales and Queensland. Like, how many players? Adam Fanua-Blake started it. He moved across, and I'm not blaming him. You can do what you want. It's absolutely fine. There are so many players that could be lining up for the Kiwis in this end of year that are going to be playing for Samoa especially, purely so they can keep the origin dream alive. I don't know if I love it.
I've got a question for you. You mentioned Casey McLean.
Yep.
And this year, he has exploded on the scene, right? Do you think that if they offered him the opportunity, because don't forget, he's born in Blacktown. Mm. Do you think that he's probably just looking at himself now going, probably could have played for Samoa and New South Wales in the future?
Yeah, because he played one game last year, didn't he?
Yeah, so he's tied. Yeah. He's a Kiwi.
But see, they can lock him in on look, you're a reserve grader who's got a great future. Oh, we need a winger. You want to come in and score 4 tries in the final? And he's like, yeah, of course I do. But yeah, he could have played for Samoa and come to play for, and that's what I don't like, because there's going to be young Kiwis that go, my dad's Samoan, I'm going to play for them. And that's fine, that's good. But we're going to see the Kiwi side come down as those other two come up. There's every chance. And don't forget that they almost knocked New Zealand back into the second, New Guinea were never going to beat them, or Fiji, or whoever it was. I think it's PNG. We're never going to beat them. But that gap's closing too. They might fall into tier 2 status, which would be horrible for rugby league, but good for New Zealand football. No one seems to be thinking of the Kiwis.
If New Zealand fall into tier 2 status, then the Kiwis can play Origin.
That's it. But the ones that are already locked can't. It's a whole thing. You look at the Samoan team and the Tongan team, and half of them can play for the Kiwis.
Yeah. And they can also play for Australia.
Well,
they can play Origin.
He's the one. He's a future New South Wales halfback. He can play for New Zealand. There is no way he's not going to play for Tonga and keep that dream alive.
Yeah. So this is, and I said it. I said it on this show, and I said it on Outlaws as well. And loads of people turned around and said, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about," blah blah. And that's great. I am all for players playing State of Origin, right? I'm not big into the State of Origin. A couple of years ago, it was a piss take amongst the boys that I would go for Queensland, you guys would go for New South Wales, whatever, right? Origin, though, to me is a detriment. I do love international footy, though, because it's just that last bit of footy you get before the season's actually over.
Yep.
A rule needs to come out now, though, that says State of Origin is New South Wales and Queensland. And to play for New South Wales and Queensland, you can only play for Australia. They close it. Close the opportunity to them and say, we will increase the match payments for Tonga and Samoa to match Australia and New Zealand and England, although England aren't paying anyone at the moment. That's a different story for another podcast. But we will match the international payments. But if you defect, you get one crack at it. And if you defect and go and play for Samoa or Tonga, congratulations. Happy for it. The international game will be better for you playing for them. That's it. You can't play State of Origin. Close the door on it.
Yep. The problem is, though, you'll see Toto and Crichton suddenly turning out for the Kangaroos again, and it just means that Kangaroos fly. There's no answer. There's no right answer here. I just want the fact that, and this end of year series between the Kiwis, Samoa, and Tonga is going to be the greatest.
Yeah, and you'd have to have a look at that team and go, Samoa are favourites.
Big time. And I'd say Tonga are probably number 2 now with Katoa.
And how long is it going to be before Jerome Hughes looks at that team and goes, I can go and play for Samoa, and I can play next to Jerome Luai, behind Terrell May, behind Payne Haas.
Tino?
Yeah, behind Tino. I think, you got Tino there, you got the Hammer. How long is it going to be before he turns around and goes, sorry, Kiwis, I'm out?
Spot on. That's the thing. It's going to happen. But look, not going to cry any tears because we're Australians and we're supposed to hate them. But the rugby league fan.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Knock On Podcast, brought to you by the good people of Zero Tackle. It is your one-stop shop for everything rugby league. News, contracts, player movements, up-to-date, everything that you need. Breaking stories, 20-to-1s, power rankings that don't make sense to anybody apart from the person who wrote it. The best independent journalists, led by the man on screen. What do you got for us this week, Dan?
Well, Terry, I've dropped 2 articles that will drop around this time or just after. One is the aforementioned PVL reaction. I don't like reacting to things, but when things are stupid and they need to be told they're stupid, it's coming out. I won't blow any more. But the other piece, and I don't know if you're going to believe this because it doesn't happen too often, is a pro Sharks piece.
Oh, God.